I used to believe that true love meant sacrifice. It meant changing yourself for the one you loved. It meant enduring tough times in silence, trusting that everything would eventually go back to normal. Until I realized, some doors, once opened, can never be closed again. My name is Brandon. I'm 31 years old. I live and work in San Francisco, a city of foggy bridges and dreams that can shatter at any moment. I'm a creative director at a large media company, stable income, beloved friends, and I once had a relationship that seemed unshakable with the woman I thought would be the mother of my children. Mia, 30, a freelance photographer, intelligent, spirited, with a smile that could calm everything inside me. We were together for 4 years. We survived the pandemic, unemployment, the loss of loved ones, moving homes, changing jobs. So when she said something simple one Friday evening filled with wine and soft golden lamplight, I thought I'd misheard her. What if we tried an open relationship? I laughed. I thought it was a joke inspired by some podcast, but Mia didn't laugh. She was serious. Her voice was soft, but her eyes were filled with expectation. I remember choking on my words. Part of me wanted to ask right away, "There's someone else, isn't there?" But I swallowed it. I was afraid that if I said it, she'd pull back, that I'd lose the only door I thought I could still hold on to. I sat there listening to her talk about experiences, about no regrets later, about exploring ourselves to strengthen our love. It sounded so civilized, like the logical next step for a modern couple. But inside me something began to crack. I'm not the type to share the person I love. I don't even like anyone holding her phone for too long. But that night I nodded, because I was terrified that if I didn't agree, I'd lose her completely. I told myself, it's just a phase. She'll realize no one out there is better than me. I was wrong. So very wrong. The very next day, Mia had accounts on Tinder and Bumble. She asked me to pick her profile picture to help write her bio. Just for fun, she said, like playing Sims. I forced a smile. Inside, I felt like I was helping my girlfriend prepare for a dating interview. But things moved too fast. Within a week, she had 3 dates. 3! With 3 different men. A DJ, a software engineer, and a gym trainer who, just from his photo, made me want to punch something. Mia changed. She started leaving early and coming home late. She wore more makeup, bought new dresses, used unfamiliar perfume. Her phone was always face down. Hugs became rushed. Dinners grew cold. And an invisible distance formed between 2 people who once shared a toothbrush. I tried to act okay. Tried to smile, tried going out with friends, even set up a dating profile for myself. But I'm not the type to play the dating game. I read messages from strangers, but none of them made me feel at ease. Until Elle came along. I met Elle for the first time at a street photography exhibition Mia was part of. Elle was Mia's best friend from college, the kind of person who lights up a room just by walking in. Tall, with wavy brown hair, and eyes so sharp they seemed to see through people's thoughts. She worked for a nonprofit focused on mental health, the kind of person who listened before speaking, and when she spoke, every word hit exactly where someone's hidden pain lay. At the time, I just thought Mia's good friend. A few weeks after Mia started exploring herself by dating a string of other men, Elle stopped by our apartment to return a jacket Mia had left at her place. Mia wasn't home. She was out having dinner with an old friend. I opened the door. Elle's perfume was gentle, unfamiliar. She smiled, held up the jacket, and was about to leave, but then she paused, looking at me for a moment. "You okay, Brandon?" I don't know why I answered so honestly. "Not really, but I'm trying." Elle didn't say anything. She didn't pry, she just sat down on the couch, poured water from her bottle into glasses for both of us. That silence, strangely enough, felt like permission to breathe. We talked about work, about the strangeness of my own home, about watching the person I loved slowly become a stranger while I had to pretend I was fine. Elle didn't judge, she didn't defend Mia, she just said, "I think Mia's running from something she's not ready to face. But that doesn't mean you have to run after her." I looked up, met Elle's eyes. There was no pity in them, just understanding. That night, Elle left late. Before she went, she turned back and said, "If you need someone to listen without trying to fix anything, I'm here." And she kept her word. From that day, Elle came by more often. Not every day, but enough that I didn't feel alone. Some days, she brought the chocolate pastries I liked. Others, 2 iced black coffees, no sugar. She remembered what I drank in the morning, what bands I liked, even how I leaned to the right when I was stressed. Mia, on the other hand, grew more distant. Her dates became more frequent, she came home later, more secretive, and spoke less. Some days I'd try to start a conversation, and she'd just stare at her phone, nodding as if I wasn't even there. I started to see it clearly. Mia was no longer the person I'd loved. But Elle was different. One night, Mia was out meeting an old friend. Elle came over bringing old books and a bag of pizza. We watched a classic Hitchcock movie, then sat quietly on the couch. My hand brushed hers by accident. Nothing happened, but a current ran down my spine. I pulled my hand back. Elle didn't say anything. After a few minutes, she whispered, "I know, and I'm scared too." I turned to look at her, seeing sadness in those eyes for the first time. "Mia's my friend. I shouldn't feel this way," Elle said, her voice hoarse. "But you know what? I've liked you since before Mia even met you." Her words landed like a boulder in a stormy lake. I didn't know what to say, not out of anger, but because I couldn't deny I was feeling the same. We didn't do anything wrong that night, no kiss, no crossing lines, but in my heart, the line had already broken. And then, a week later, I found out Mia wasn't just dating, she was living with one of them. It was a Monday evening. I came home exhausted after work, opened the door to the apartment, and saw the shoe rack half empty. No white sneakers Mia wore every morning, no brown ankle boots she loved. The closet felt lighter too. Her vanity was spotless. No lipsticks, no perfume, no little green comb she used every morning. I stood frozen. Mia left no note, no message, no email, not a single word on the fridge screen, just an eerie emptiness. I grabbed my phone and called. No one picked up. Text: "Mia, did you move out? I need to talk." 2 hours later she replied, "I'm at Matt's, I'll probably stay here for a while, we should have space to think." Matt? Oh God. Matt was the gym trainer Mia had run into after a group workout. Tall, muscular, with a smile that gleamed like it was freshly polished. I'd seen his photo on her phone once. She forgot to lock the screen. They were laughing, standing closer than necessary, and now she was living with him? I stared at the screen. My heart didn't shatter like I'd imagined. It froze. A coldness seeped into every fiber. Not the pain of loss, but the realization that I'd been replaced, officially. And worse, I'd allowed it to happen. I was the one who nodded. I was the one who agreed to open the door. I was the one who thought that if I acted civilized, tolerant, and modern, she'd come back. Foolish, arrogant in my weakness. That night, I took down all our photos, smashed a glass frame, didn't cry, just felt empty. And then, like a reflex, I texted Elle. "I need to talk, now." 30 minutes later, Elle was there. She didn't ask, didn't speak, just hugged me for a long time. I told her everything, how Mia had moved in with Matt, how I felt like an old piece of furniture set aside. Elle listened, her eyes red. "I knew this would happen sooner or later," she said softly. "But Brandon, it doesn't mean you're less. She didn't choose someone better, she just chose an easier escape." I looked at Elle. In that moment I knew I'd lost Mia. And I also knew I didn't want her back anymore. 3 days later I started cleaning up the apartment. Threw out Mia's old things, Bought a new couch, changed the bed sheets, repainted the walls, got a haircut, hit the gym. I didn't do it to win anyone back, I did it to become myself again. Elle still came by often, but this time it wasn't out of pity, it was something else. Her eyes looked at me differently. And so did mine. One Saturday evening, as we watched a movie, she turned to me. "You're changing, Brandon. Stronger, more confident. I can see it." I smiled, but didn't say anything. She touched my hand. "I know it might not be the right time yet, but if one day you're ready to step out of the past, I hope the person you want to hold hands with is me." I didn't respond with words. I just leaned in and kissed her. No hesitation, no doubts. It was a confirmation. A month after Mia moved out, I got a text from her at 1 a.m. "Brandon, I miss you. Can we meet?" I was sitting on my bed, holding the warm glass of water Elle had made for me before she left. My phone lit up again. "I'm sorry, Matt. Isn't what I thought. I need to talk to you. In person." I stared at the words. No anger, no satisfaction, just calm. I'd imagined this scene 100 times, her regretting, begging for forgiveness, realizing she was wrong to leave me. But when it actually happened, I just felt bored. I didn't reply right away. The next morning, another message came. "Just give me 10 minutes. Meet me at our old coffee shop." I agreed. That afternoon, I walked into the cozy cafe on the corner, our little sanctuary from before. She was there wearing a long knit coat, hair tied up, her face thinner than before, and her eyes no longer as bright. I realized the only thing still like the old Mia was her perfume. But even that scent didn't stir me anymore. "Thanks for coming," she said softly. "You okay?" I nodded. "Fine, really fine. I know. I hurt you. A lot, and I don't expect forgiveness right away. I want you to know I realize I was wrong." I stayed quiet, watching her, letting her continue. "Matt isn't who I thought. He's controlling, jealous, cold. I thought it was passion, but it's just toxic." She looked down, her voice catching. "I miss you. I miss how you took care of me. I miss Sunday mornings making pancakes. I miss feeling like myself when I was with you. I don't need an open relationship. I just need you." I sipped my coffee, calmly. "I'm glad you realized that. But Mia, I'm not the person you left behind anymore." She froze. "What do you mean?" I said gently. "I'm not in that place anymore, and neither is my heart." She looked at me frowning, a flicker of confusion. "There's someone else?" I didn't answer right away, just smiled and said, slowly, "No." She went still. "Elle? No way, she's my best friend. She knows everything." I nodded. "And because she knows everything, she saw what you stopped wanting to see. She was there when you weren't. She listened when I was hurting. And she didn't run when things got tough." Mia trembled. "Did you sleep with Elle?" I looked straight into her eyes. "I love Elle." No more needed to be said. The silence was enough for Mia to understand. "You know this will destroy our friendship," she said, as if clinging to some final shred of control. I nodded. "Maybe, but I didn't choose that. You left first, you opened the door, and I just walked through." That evening I told Elle everything, that I'd met Mia, that I'd spoken about her. Elle was quiet for a moment, then took my hand. "I don't need to know what you said. I just need to know who you're choosing to stay with." I looked at her and knew this was where I belonged. The story could have ended after that coffee shop meeting. I'd made it clear to Mia that I wasn't the same person, that I'd moved on, that my heart now belonged to someone else. Elle. I forgot one thing. People like Mia don't know how to lose. 3 days later, I got a text from a mutual friend, Lucas, my buddy from college. It was brief. "You okay? Heard from Mia, something bad went down between you and Elle." I froze. "Something bad?" I called him immediately. Lucas hesitated. Mia said, Elle had a thing for you even before you two got together, that she swooped in, taking advantage when you were vulnerable, and that you two were sneaking around behind her back. I gripped the phone. My eyes burned. And you believe that? Lucas wavered. I don't know who to believe, Brandon. But Mia, she seems really hurt. She said you cheated, that Elle ruined everything. I hung up, my chest heavy. It didn't stop there. That evening Elle came over. Her face was pale. Brandon, I think something's going on. I just got texts from an anonymous account. They sent photos of us. At the cafe, watching movies, even me hugging you outside your place. She held up her phone, her hand trembling slightly. I looked at the pictures, clearly taken from a distance, capturing moments I thought were private. Do you think it's Mia? Elle asked, her voice catching. I nodded. I think so, and she's starting a war I don't want to be part of. Elle sat down, silent for a moment, then said, Maybe I should step back for a while before this gets out of hand. My heart stung. No, you're not the one at fault. You're not the one who has to leave. Elle looked at me, her eyes wet but resolute. Brandon, I've lost friends over a bad relationship before. I don't want to go through that again. The next day, an anonymous account started posting online, no names but enough for anyone who knew me and Elle to connect the dots. Some people steal their best friend's partner and pretend to be saints. Some men don't have the guts to break up properly, just blame the woman who wanted to live authentically. The comments below were from people we knew, my old friends. Some laughed with ha-ha reactions, others dropped vague remarks like, didn't see that coming, thought they were the good ones. Elle saw them, she stayed quiet. I didn't. I texted Mia, cold, clear. Stop now, you love me, you just can't stand losing. But I'm not your game. Mia replied, As long as Elle's with you, I haven't lost. That night, Elle didn't come over. I called, no answer. The next morning she texted, I'm sorry, I need time. Not because I doubt you, but because I'm starting to doubt myself. I understood that feeling. But I wasn't going to let Mia win, not this time. 3 days, no texts, no calls from Elle. I'd grown used to waking up to her gentle, good morning messages, a silly photo from the night before, a clumsy but warm check-in. Now, silence. I texted, You okay? No reply. I started to fear, not that I'd lose Elle, but that Mia had succeeded in planting doubt, not in me but in Elle herself. That Saturday afternoon, Elle called. Her voice was low, tired. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shut you out. But there are things I needed to think through. I stayed quiet, waiting. My friends, the ones who were Mia's too, they're starting to pull away, calling me a traitor, saying I always want what's not mine. I thought I was strong, but I'm still scared of being isolated. Her voice cracked. I answered, slow but firm. Elle, you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't steal anything. You just stood by someone who was abandoned. Elle was silent for a long time. I know, but Brandon, I was once on the outside too. I saw you and Mia as the perfect couple. If I were a stranger, I'd probably think, she definitely got in the way. I clenched my fists. We don't need to explain ourselves to the world. We just need to be honest with each other. She didn't reply, just sighed. Give me a few more days. Those days were hell for me. And Mia? She came back with a smug smile. I didn't need to force Elle to do anything, she said in a taunting text. I just told the truth. What people believe is their choice. I started to realize Mia didn't need to do much. She just had to drip-feed memories and let the pain seep into every crack of Elle's heart. Then Mia showed up, in person, at my office. One rainy afternoon, I'd just finished a meeting when I saw her waiting at the cafe downstairs. I hesitated, then walked over. Not going to invite me to sit? She asked, smiling faintly. I sat down, eyes wary. Mia started talking about the early days of our relationship, about that trip to Colorado, about the time I had a high fever and she stayed by my bed all night, about our first Christmas living together, buying a tiny tree but feeling inexplicably happy. She spoke as if to herself, a calculated monologue of nostalgia. "Remember?" she asked. "Back then we thought nothing could break us." I nodded. "Back then you were someone else." Mia gave a sad smile. "Maybe, but you're still the same, still the guy who thinks he can fix everything with love." I looked straight into her eyes. "I've fixed it, not for you, for myself." That evening, Elle texted me. "I'm ready to meet. But there's one thing I need to ask. Between me and her, be honest, was there ever a moment you regretted it?" I stared at the message for a long time. Did I? Mia had been a beautiful part of my youth, but when someone uses love to manipulate, to experiment, to turn you into their backup plan, even memories lose their worth. I typed carefully. "I don't regret someone who chose to leave. I only regret not leaving sooner." I was at the office when I got a strange email. Subject: "Is Elle really who you think she is?" The message was short, no greeting, no signature, just one line. "Do you know who she loved before Mia?" Attached was a photo, a blurry selfie dimly lit, but I recognized the face. Elle, a few years younger, leaning on a man's shoulder. The man looked familiar. I'd seen him somewhere before. I racked my brain, trying to place him, and then the name hit me like a punch to the chest. Tyler. Tyler, Mia's ex before me, a guy notorious for messy relationships in her friends' circle, the one Mia once called the biggest disappointment of my life. And yet, Elle had been with Tyler? I sat frozen for minutes, my head spinning. That evening, I didn't call Elle right away. I needed to be sure. I needed to know this wasn't another of Mia's dirty games. I texted an old friend, Jamie, who'd gone to school with both Mia and Elle. "Jamie, Tyler and Elle, what were they to each other?" Jamie called back immediately, no hesitation. "Oh, that, Brandon, don't get it wrong, they dated, yes, but only a few months, before Elle found out Tyler was also seeing." I went still. "You mean their timelines overlapped?" Jamie sighed. "Yeah, and Elle was the one who ended it. She stayed quiet to avoid drama, didn't want to ruin the friendship. But Mia, she's the one who blew it up later." I called Elle. She picked up after a few rings. "Brandon." I cut her off. "Taylor, did you ever love him?" Silence on the other end. Then, "Yes, but you have to hear me out." I didn't interrupt again. I let her speak. "It happened when I was younger. I met Tyler before I knew Mia had been his ex. When I found out, I ended it immediately. I never wanted to be tangled up in something like that." I took a deep breath. "Me ever tell me?" Elle hesitated. "Because I was scared. Scared you'd think. I'm always the one cutting in. I didn't want you to lump me in with Mia." Her words softened my heart. Elle continued, her voice trembling. "You can believe me or not, but I never meant to repeat the past. I'm not perfect, Brandon, but I've never played with anyone's heart." I closed my eyes. My heart was being pulled in two directions, one by what Elle hadn't said, the other by what Mia was trying to say for her. I whispered, "I don't need you to be perfect. I just need you to be real." That night, I lay in the dark, thinking endlessly about one question. If the woman I love kept a secret, but only to protect me from pain, could I forgive her? I didn't sleep at all. The Tyler L. Mia story felt like a vortex with no exit. The more I thought, the more something felt off. Too many things happening at once, too coincidental to be random. The next morning I made a decision. I'd find Tyler. I knew Tyler worked at a small creative agency downtown. I went there during lunch, waiting in the lobby. When he saw me, he was slightly surprised, but not shocked. "Brandon, I'm guessing the L thing got to you, huh?" I nodded, blunt. "I'm not here to fight. I just need the truth. Did you send me that email?" Tyler looked at me, hesitated for half a second, then let out a small laugh. I didn't need to send it, I just wrote it. I clenched my fists. Who told you to do it? Tyler took a sip of water, then answered like it was no big deal. Mia, she asked me to. My heart sank. Exactly as I'd suspected. What did she tell you? I asked, my patience wearing thin. Tyler leaned back, shrugging. She said Elle was ruining everything, that she was her best friend, the one who betrayed her. Mia told me you were being played, that I had a duty to speak up, and Elle dumped me without explanation back then, so I didn't hesitate to help. I narrowed my eyes. Help by fabricating stories and sending stalker photos? Tyler sighed, then came clean. The photos weren't mine, Mia gave them to me. She told me to send them because I still had a connection to Elle, so you'd trust me more. I felt like I'd been slapped. That afternoon I went to Mia's, no heads up. She opened the door, her face as calm as if she'd done nothing wrong. Brendan, here, for me or for Elle? I didn't answer, just showed her my phone, playing the recording of Tyler's confession. Mia listened to it all. Didn't deny anything. Just smiled. Coldly. I only told the truth. I didn't force anyone to believe it. I just opened up what needed to be revisited. I gripped my bag strap, my voice colder than the wind outside. You don't love anyone. You just love control. Mia shrugged. I loved you, but you love her, and she's not as clean as you think. I turned away. Even if Elle was wrong once, she doesn't pretend to be right. That evening I went to Elle's. She opened the door, still looking worried. I hugged her. Long, very long. You were right, you made mistakes, but you didn't lie to me. Elle froze. You know, I nodded. Mia pulled all the strings, even Tyler. She broke down crying, but this time not out of fear of losing me, because she was being kept. I'm not the type to air dirty laundry online. I hate drama, hate gossip, hate exposing private matters to win public favor. But this time I knew, if I stayed silent, Elle would be the next one crushed. Mia didn't stop at rumors. She was using social media as a weapon, sowing doubt, painting Elle as the homewrecker in our friends' eyes, and making me look like a spineless fool. So I wrote a long post, not begging for anyone's side, not apologizing, not blaming, just the truth. I told it from the start, how Mia suggested an open relationship, how she dated a string of other men, how I agreed because I was scared of losing her, how Elle came, not as an intruder, but as the one who stayed when everyone else left. I attached screenshots of Tyler's recorded confession, the original texts from the anonymous account, evidence of who was behind the smear campaign against Elle. I ended the post. I'm not writing this for pity. I just want to say, in life, some people leave when you need them most, and some quietly stay, even when they know they'll be misunderstood. I choose the one who stayed. 30 minutes after posting, it started spreading fast. An hour later, I had over 200 comments. Not everyone supported me, but most were shocked and quiet. Quiet because they started remembering things Mia had done to others, things overlooked, conflicts brushed off as misunderstandings. Then the private messages poured in. Brandon, I'm sorry for believing the wrong person. Elle doesn't deserve this. Thanks for speaking up. I thought Mia was just a victim. And Mia. She read the post, no public response, but I knew she was furious. An old friend texted me. She just left our group chat, said we don't deserve to understand her. For the first time, Mia lost. Not because I fought harder, but because I chose to tell the truth. And the truth, even if late, is stronger than a lie told too long. That evening, Elle came over. She didn't say much, just hugged me and exhaled. I thought you'd choose silence. I smiled. I thought so too, but then I realized silence is a form of betrayal too. Elle squeezed my hand tighter. We packed our things one sunny March morning. Not fleeing, not leaving in anger, but a decision made in quiet clarity, as if we'd both known for a long time that we needed a new place to start over. Elle got a job at a nonprofit education organization in Portland. I transferred to a northern branch, nearly 600 kilometers from my old office. No one saw us off, no one needed to. Everything in San Francisco, once my home, was now just fractured memories, full of backstabs, suspicious glances, and names no longer called with warmth. In the car, Elle rested her head on my shoulder. Her hair fluttered in the breeze from the window. "Do you regret it?" she asked, not looking at me. I didn't answer right away. I remembered Sunday mornings with coffee on the corner, hand-in-hand walks in the rain, every little detail of the old apartment. But I also remembered Mia's coldness as she slammed the door. The nights I lay alone, hearing her phone buzz beside me, too afraid to ask who was texting. I said, "No, I only regret staying too long before I left." Elle didn't speak, but I saw the corner of her mouth curve slightly. We rented a small 2-bedroom apartment on the edge of the new city. Not luxurious, not overly convenient, but peaceful. And most importantly, no one knew who we were. No more prying eyes, no more anonymous texts, no past trailing our every step. One day I was scrolling online and saw Mia's post, a photo of her alone at an unfamiliar cafe, captioned, "Some stories were never meant to be understood, just endured." No comments, no likes. I didn't laugh, didn't judge, just closed my phone. She was once the first chapter of my journey in love, but not the last. That evening, Elle handed me a hand-drawn picture, scribbled lines from the kids she taught at the center. On it, in childish handwriting, "Mr. Brandon, Miss L says, you're the best." I laughed, then felt my eyes sting. Elle said softly, "Maybe we didn't start like a fairy tale, but the ending is happier than I ever hoped." I took her hand, said nothing. No words were needed anymore,